Being evicted from my apartment. Back in July, I was without a job for about a month. Luckily, I was able to keep up with my rent from the income from TikTok. Luckily, I found a job in August, but it was a big decrease in pay. I was still keeping up with the rent because of the income I had coming from TikTok. I was late a few times here and there, but I was able to set up a payment arrangement.
Hold on for a second, because I'm trying to understand. Why are you wet? What's going on? This dude came on here sweaty and all short of breath. Why would you? This just looks weird. I'm not gonna lie. He came on here sweaty and panting. What's going on? Is there another man in there? No, I'm just playing. But this is, I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? This is weird to watch from my point of view. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Y'all, before we do, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually does help me out tremendously. So if you could like, I know it's easy to forget, but only takes a second, and it actually does help a lot. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Decrease in pay. I was still keeping up with the rent because of the income I had coming from TikTok. I was late a few times here and there, but I was able to set up a payment arrangement with no problems. This time around, for the month of October, I was just a little bit later than usual. Around September 29th, I had already set up a payment arrangement for the month of October because I already knew I was going to be a little late. The agreement was I would pay my rent on the 15th of October. On the 7th of October, they already sent me a notice to vacate. On the 7th of October, they're sending me a letter for a notice to vacate on October 10th. I went to the office with the letter. Nobody in the office was even aware of the agreement that I made. Luckily, I had a copy for myself. They was like, oh, don't worry about the letter. We just have to send it out. But I was already making payments on what was due. I asked for a little bit more time. They said it was fine. They filed for an eviction. So I got my eviction notice from the constable. They served me my court papers, fine. So then I emailed the manager like, hey, you know, I'm about to go ahead and pay the rent, and I want to set up another payment arrangement for the month of November. We not even in
Mm.
November yet. The manager doesn't respond back by email. She went ahead and I called the manager back, and I explained to her like, hey, yeah, I can go ahead and I can pay October's rent. I got the rest of the money, and then I would like to go ahead and set up a payment arrangement for the month of November. The manager was like, no, we can't do that unless you can pay November's rent too at the same time of paying October's rent. We're not gonna cancel the eviction. We're not going to cancel the eviction unless you can pay October's rent and November's rent at the same time. And she was like, it's out of my hands. That's just the way the company works. So I explained to the manager, I'm like, hey, I don't have November's rent yet. And I asked her, well, what would you suggest I do? So the manager suggested that I turn in the keys before the court date. That way it won't be considered to be an eviction. It really just seemed like they just trying to get me and my family up out of this apartment. It just seems like the best thing to do was just to move. That way I could find me an apartment with cheaper rent. Keep you guys updated with the eviction process. But by the time you see this video, I'm already going to be in a new place. I'm being evicted.
Okay, well, that's interesting. You see what's crazy? He's not even trying to like, oh, I'm gonna keep living in here and you just won't get your money, like we see a lot of times. And funny enough, it's a guy. He just said, "Shoot, I'll just do the right thing," and shoot, he's making. Notice how he's making the more long term strategic play, right? As opposed, some people choose to keep their money and just not pay. So up front, you keep your money, but then you get that eviction, like he was talking about on your record, that lasts forever, or for a long period of time, basically. And then that pretty much eliminates all your options as far as finding another place. He decided, no, I'm not going to take that hit long term. I'd rather just take the hit up front. And I would say that's the wise decision to make. And the entire time he was communicating, he was in good faith. He actually was trying to work with them. But he's got to understand, if they took you to court already, be glad they didn't try to come after you for their court fees as well. Now, what I find kind of interesting is, you notice he mentioned in the video that basically his TikTok money is sustaining him by. And I'm glad he mentioned that because I was curious because I was looking at some of his stuff because when you watch a video on TikTok, it'll like show some other things, kind of like YouTube, how it'll show the recommended, but it'll recommend the other videos from the content creator. And he has a lot of, followers and views on TikTok. Like he's got some videos that do over 1 million, 4 million. He got one that did 4 million. And I only bring this up to say that's incredible because he's broke. He can't even afford his rent. And I peeped that a long time ago. TikTok really doesn't pay. YouTube, as they say, Facebook is the best paying platform, but I think YouTube is the best because YouTube also is a very good company. If you didn't know, YouTube is owned by Google, right? Who also owns Gemini, and they just have the best cutting edge stuff, the best analytics. They're always updating. They're always on the cutting edge. I love it. It's great to be a partner with YouTube. TikTok is kind of dusty, and now it seems like if you want to be a content creator who actually makes money on TikTok, funny enough, we review it all the time, right? You have to be begging and basically have your people go to a different channel like a GoFundMe or a Cash App in order to just directly give you the funds. That seems like the only viable, financially viable way to really make money on TikTok. But I digress. Let's get into the next clips. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it.
Trying to find an apartment, but I have an eviction on my record and I don't know what to do. In 2022, I had an apartment with my girlfriend at the time. You know what I'm saying? We both put our name on the lease. The apartments needed 3 times the rent, and we both wasn't making that on our own. But together, we was making it, so we both put our name on the lease. Long story short, I wasn't living there for too long, and I ended up moving out because there was too much unhealthy stuff going on. So we couldn't be together. Like, we couldn't be around each other for real. I moved back to my parents' house where I've been living for damn near my whole life. So I've been in my parents' house this whole time, since 2022. So now I'm trying to find an apartment because I'm ready to move out my parents' house. I make 3 times the rent for the apartment that I was trying to get. So in my mind, I thought, I definitely could get this apartment. So I applied, and 2 days later, they hit me up telling me that I got denied. I don't know why I got denied, so I asked the lady, like, what's going on? Like, why did I get denied? I'm making 3 times the rent for this apartment. She told me that I have an eviction on my record, and I was confused because I don't know why I don't know why I have an eviction on my record. I never got evicted from any place before. Went on Experian, and on there I have a collection. Mind you, this collection just came through in September, and it says that I owe them $8,000. It said it's a joint collection. So it has her name on there too. It's saying that we owe them $8,000. So I can't get an apartment now because I have an eviction on my record and I owe $8,000 for apartments that I barely live for real. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to get apartments right now. So if y'all do know, please help me out.
He done crippled himself before he could even get in the race. What he should have did from the beginning, from preconception, was he should have been staying with his parents, and if he wanted to date the girl or whatever, just date her. I don't know why you decided to move in with the chick, right? And now you got this thing on your record because you just was too impatient, and you're just young. You're just young and dumb, making bad decisions, and apparently nobody stopped him. And he actually seems like a young man that is on his business, but sometimes when you tie yourself to certain things and that you don't have no business doing, then you can end up like this. And you see what the other guy that we you see what the sweaty dude we review, you see what he avoided, right? And look at the contrast too. You got one dude who's sweaty, short of breath, looking funny, but he don't got an eviction on his record, so he'll be just fine. Meanwhile, you got a fresh cut, freshly twisted dreads, everything. You got motion, but you don't because you can't find nowhere that's going to rent to you. So basically, you're a bum. You don't look like a bum, but you're a bum because you can't have your own place. The only option you have now is to go buy a home at the worst time it's ever been in America to try to buy a home. He's a little cooked, I'm not gonna lie. But it's not funny. But dang, man. You see how easily you can just self-inflict yourself? I mean, see how easy it is to just inflicted wound yourself? So easy. It doesn't take much. It's hard to find the way sometimes, but it's very easy to destroy everything. So you have to be a little bit smarter and you got to move with discernment. And preferably don't tie yourself to people that you haven't vetted and that you haven't ensured that there's somebody who's going to be solidified in the long term.
All right, part 4 of my Section 8 story. This is my final part. So for the ones who probably just chiming in and, talking your shit or whatever. Anyway, and I don't care. I don't lose no sleep. To sum up my part 3, like I said, me and my children, I have 2 children. I have 2 kids, rather. My oldest is 23. He'll be 24 this year. And my baby girl is 16. She'll be 17. I decided to get off of Section 8 when she questioned me about my father's mail. Yes, they run everything through the database. And at that point, it was like, you know what? I can do this. I can get up off this program, get these people up out of my business if I just pay these extra couple of hundreds. And was I scared? Yes, I was very terrified to let that program go. I was making good money at my job, but I had to really jump out on faith. So that's what I did. Anyway, like I had told you all previously in the last 3 parts, that I was doing taxes here and there. It's a side hustle. Now, overall, I've been doing taxes over 15 years, but
You know what's crazy? When it's all said and done, especially with everything happening right now, like how they're coming down and just sweeping through and getting so many people off this program, as well as regulating the program down to 2 years with the other restrictions as well, and people are going to have to actually come off of it. I think they're going to have to actually create a diagnosis for her, the new, because it's going to be so many people like her. Like she said, she's basically having PTSD of letting go of Section 8. You know how many people never even thought that that was an option to begin with? Like we just was regular stressing, just had regular anxiety of what could happen if we don't do what we need to do. But that's the key word or the key phrase. That it's a healthy fear that gets you to act responsibly and that gets you to actually evaluate things and make sure that you're always making the smartest and wisest decision. So now she's concerned and she's having anxiety about letting go of her benefits because clearly she must not trust her decision making process, because she just said that she's all ready to go. She's making great money. Her kids are not kids anymore. At least I heard one of them is 23. So what's the excuse? All you got to do is take care of yourself.
um, I didn't go into business for myself until the year 2020. And when I tell you, that was the best move I ever made. I started off with 60 some clients, even though I was scared then, you know. But as the years went on, my clientele build. I am currently, when you like to know, I will not tell you, but I have 2 assistants. So my business doing just that good to have 2 assistants. Also, yes, it's seasonal, but I am all year round.
Mm,
I do work a job on my downtime. I work a full-time
mm,
job. And yes, I juggle them both during tax season because my
mm-hmm.
tax business is done from home, electronically, over the phone, all that. Zoom. So This is why I say that when it comes to Section 8, that I am a person who supports Section 8. Section 8 was there when I needed them. I did not have any pride in no type of pride receiving help. I wasn't ashamed that I was on Section 8 at all. They helped me so much. They gave me a better life for me and my kids. I was able to move out the city. I was able to move into homes, nice suburban area. I was able to do a lot of things. I was able to go to school. I was able to do a lot of things. So when you come on here talking about people lazy or they don't want nothing out of life, that's not true. You don't know people's stories. I just decided to share my story. And you can still think what you want. A lot of you all still talking shit, which I don't care. But that's my story. I am now a proud.
I don't think that the main complaint is that people are lazy. Actually, what I would say the main complaint is the abuse of people who are just taking advantage who actually don't even need it. Like you are still currently taking advantage of it, allegedly, like you just said. You're still on it, even though you've got a business, you got a job, your kids are grown, and business is booming, and you got clients and you got 2 assistants. I think that's really the main complaint, especially to be able to just come online and admit that, and you don't see anything wrong with that. Most of the issue is the fraud, waste, and abuse, is what most people are complaining about, which you just became exhibit A of that, admittedly.
Owner, and this year, June 14th, made 3 years that I have been a homeowner of a 3-bedroom home, brick, full back.
Don't be, and this is the problem. They be on the benefits, but still be stunting on folks. See, I had never heard it happen. I would always hear people say, "Oh, they bragging about their stuff and they stunning on us." She just stunning on us. She said 3-bedroom brick. By the way, get it right. You can't be on government assistance and be stunning on the people who's funding your life.
Half and a half with a finished basement. I have a beautiful home and no Section 8. So understand that you cannot judge a book by its cover. A lot of you all are going off of what they are telling you when you really don't know the story. You really don't know the requirements of Section 8. So that will be the end of that.
Oh, we know them now because they finally been laid out plain and clear to where everybody know them. You can't not know them. You got 2 years. Y'all got to work, or do community service. And yeah, I like it. Short and sweet. Just make it simple. Keep it simple. Kiss. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today, y'all. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Helps tremendously, helps a lot. Only takes a second. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And the more you hype, it'll show the points. And since I'm a smaller content creator, it actually offers more points at this stage. So sometimes it's not there, though. If it's not, no worries. A like works. But if it is there, I'd appreciate the hype and the like. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.